Today we begin the second stage of an off-road adventure. We fitted out our four-wheel drive, built a project boat and hit the waters to the north of Rockhampton. The aim is to get our boats into places we've only seen on a map. The temperatures rise and so does the difficulty level as everything starts to go wrong.
Just throw rods in the car. Hey. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, he's got it that time.
Yes, Jason. Get the net, get the net, get the net.
This show is proudly brought to you by Mercury Marine, BCF, ARB and Spotters Sunglasses.
Today, stage 2 of an off-road fishing adventure begins in Rockhampton in central Queensland. Jason and I have used Rocky as a base to explore the surrounding district and get to places we've only ever seen on the map before. And the first stage of the project was upgrading the car.
Being that we are taking only one vehicle and towing a heavy boat into tough locations, we needed our four-wheel drive fitted out right. The team at ARB seriously jacked up the suspension, installed high-powered LED lighting and put in place a deluxe winch bar fitted with a Warn winch. We also picked up recovery kits, compressors and other cool toys to hopefully get us into the good fishing spots and also out of trouble.
The next step was to get a boat built to handle some punishment.
Our boat had to go into unknown waters and that meant it had to be tough. We chose to get a 450 Polycraft built from unbreakable polyethylene plastic. The boat was fitted up with a 50 horsepower Mercury 4-stroke outboard, bow mount electric, sounders and more. We were ready to hit the road.
We really wanted to fish around 9 Mile Beach in Byfield National Park, just to the north of Rocky. The fishing was amazing, but not everything went to plan.
We first ran out through the local estuary to sample the fishing off 9 Mile Beach. The fishing just off the sand was mind-blowing, with huge giant trevally, herring, permit and school mackerel all coming out to play. Then, as two four-wheel drive novices, we tackled the beach from shore. Life got hotter as our car started to overheat. We realised our off-road deficiencies and also risked being stranded a long way from home.
We've now fished the beach and offshore waters, but we now focus on rivers and to see how much the fishing can change between the fresh and the estuary. Today we head off in search of a creek that runs into the Fitzroy River, but it's going to take some finding.
It's closed Barramundi season at present, which means we'll travel away from Rockhampton, a place fast becoming a mecca for travelling barra anglers. The town offers plenty in the way of fishing and tourist attractions and is well equipped to service the travelling and fishing family. Before hitting the road, we have to stop into the local tackle store and get those forgotten lures and a bit of advice before once again getting on the road north. Unfortunately, we've managed to time our travels with a heat wave that has created bushfires to our south and is seriously putting the pressure on a car that overheated just a day ago, and the initial signs are not looking good.
Temperature gauge is rising, mate. Our overheating problems may not be over.
The new purple paintwork on the side of the car suggests that this vehicle is far from happy.
Coolant. Makes it interesting now, we're a long way from anywhere.
A quick phone call to my mechanic came with instructions to drive slowly to the nearest garage. Out here, this could be easier said than done.
You know what I'm thinking? I might turn it back.
I'm not turning back. You're turning back, you're leaving me on the side of the road.
I'm not turning back. We're gonna, if we got to go there at 40 k's an hour, we're going there. It's just the town. Garage, general
Store, swimming pool, police museum. I've got a Marlborough.
How are we, mate?
The prognosis is not too bad. There doesn't look to be serious damage, and we get the all clear to continue with caution. Daryl, the mechanic in Marlborough, is a dead set legend, and the local pub is pretty good too. We hit the road again and watch as the outside temperature rises, which raises a new problem. The bushfire threat down south is starting to escalate, and the radio stations warn of evacuations.
It's very hazy around here at the moment because there's a truckload of big uncontrolled fires burning down to the south. All those storms that we drove through a few days ago, the lightning from that started a lot of these fires, but at the moment everything is far south, so we're safe enough. I think this car's had enough heat for one day. I think we'll stay away from the fires, Jace.
The heat rises and the landscape flattens as we head northwest. It seems improbable that any fish can survive a summer in these parts, as every creek we cross is dry. With evening settling in, we find our creek and campsite and take in the lay of the land.
We were told that it was tricky to get in. I'm looking at that. Wow, that's pretty steep.
That is pretty steep.
Our biggest issue here was always going to be getting this large boat in and out of this creek, and the problem now starts looking very real. Jason and I surveyed the area, and a quick assessment suggests we will need some winching assistance and a little luck to get this boat in.
Game on.
It's game on.
Let's go. We've got to do this pretty quick.
Yeah, all right.
It's all about traction and getting the angles right, and the launch is going to be the easy bit. We'll worry about how to get this boat out later.
Got to be a tight little circle.
Just hold it there. It's probably going to be a little...
Yeah, I'll go back a bit, up a bit, back a bit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have to crab it.
That's actually not too bad, but I am getting a bit concerned about the traction. Yeah. Stop!
What?
Mate, no traction at all on this front tyre.
Yeah, well, it's winch. We've got to go to winch now.
We're going to have to put that winch on now.
Right.
With the fading daylight against us, there's a quick check of the winch system and we are good to go.
All right, Nige.
You right?
As I let it go, you drop, okay? Slow,
Good.
Really slow. Swing those front wheels around a little bit. A little bit more, mate, you're right, a little bit more.
I'm tyres in the air on this side nearly.
There, mate, there. Whoa. All right.
We navigate the hill and then the next test. Can we get the boat into the water without damaging the prop and skeg of the motor?
Right, mate, so what we're going to have to do is slowly unwind while we push so it doesn't tip up and drive the motor and the transducer straight into the mud. Typical fisherman. Worry about getting the boat in before anything else. As long as the boat's in, we can go fishing tomorrow. Now we've got to get the car out. Slow down. Ooh. Just let the winch dictate your speed. Righto, mate, I reckon that's us. I reckon we can get that winch down. Now that it's in, we'll hopefully get a good early morning bite on the Saratoga and sooty runner. Tell you what, a cold beverage isn't going to go straight.
This morning we get to properly appreciate the beauty of this isolated waterway.
Should we go that way or that way?
That way.
It's an oasis in amongst some tough terrain, and we can't wait to see what it holds.
This system via a few other creeks flows down into the Fitzroy River. It's completely fresh up here. This is the peak of dry season. It's only just flowing, and I reckon if we head a few kilometres upriver, we'll start finding it almost forms water holes. But this area up here is the lifeline for not just the land animals, but so many freshwater species. And two of the target ones for us today are the Saratoga and the sooty grunter. All we've got to do now is work out how to catch them. That bug buzzing away on top of the water there is the result of strong winds and a waterhole surrounded by trees, and that's what we call terrestrials falling into the water. And those vibrating wings on the top, that's ringing the dinner bell for one of these local Saratoga. We just got to put a lure in front of it, Jace. Yep. Oh. Got a bit of weight. Got weight.
Come around this side, mate. Come around this side.
Oh, that's a big one.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Wow. Look at you. Oh. Yes. Mate, it's a lot of travelling, a lot of dust. Oh, wow. That was so cool, mate. That was so cool.
Yes, that's a chunk. He's croaking away, aren't they?
Magic.
Stunning freshwater fish. I just love our native species, how different that they all are. You know, this guy, look at that. like very dark fish, but do change shades depending on where they live, obviously, like so many of other species. And an omnivore, so they'll eat bait fish, crustaceans, but just as happy eating chunks of weed and insects, whatever comes their way, really. They're going to sit in those shadows and belt anything that comes near them.
Swims past them, yeah. These guys are a pretty tough species. They've been around a long time. They're actually a staple diet of some of the early settlers that came up here in North Queensland. This guy is not going in our diet though. He's going back. He's nice and fat, and you can get back there and get a bit bigger. Right, that was great fun. Thanks, buddy. Cool.
Yeah, oh yes, good fish, good fish, good fish. Oh, big soot. How dark is this fish? It's so dark, mate. Oh, you need belt that. You're right on the shade line.
It was a bit of an angle, that one, mate.
It's a case of very reactive bites at the moment. These fish aren't out actively hunting. So what Jason and I are doing is using what we call part B of the strategy. You can either get fish to eat because they're hungry, but you can also get them to bite because they're annoyed. And we're using a lure which very much annoys them, and we're casting it tight into those spots where it's their home. And what you'll find about a lot of these fish, particularly sooty grunter, very territorial. So once something invades their space, they'll often want to kill it, whether they're hungry or not. And I think you triggered all those responses, mate. Every time I sit down here,
oh, yeah. Wow.
Okay. What do you got? What do you got?
Oh, I think it might be a sooty. Yeah, wow.
I'm just going to sit down, because Dad said every time I retie, you're rubbish.
Oh, wow.
Here's a chunk.
Oh, mate.
He buried you too. I think you're gone for a second.
That was a great hit.
Wow. And paler fish too.
Wow.
I love the different colour in them. Well done, my man.
Wow. This is why we travel. When they start getting into chunkiness like that, they're great fun as well. It's like catching a freshwater jack. He hit me like a freight train. He came out of that log, hit that, and headed straight back in. They're such a brute of an animal.
Oh, see that? Yep.
Yep, got it.
No. Sooties.
Sooties?
Oh, yeah, got him that time.
Got him that time.
Got him that time.
What have you got, my friend? Oh,
big
nice sooty.
He's a good soot. Oh, did they crunch it? He had about 3 goes. Oh, I missed him.
Oh, he just grabbed the net.
Just sitting there looking at him for a little bit too long. That was a big sooty. You can see by now that obviously I'm a lot better at the net than Jason is.
I haven't had much practice.
Thanks for all the help. That was a chunk too.
Yeah, that
was just sitting in that shade.
sooty.
Oh no, he was in nothing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a rattle.
No. Just looking at where, I was just saying, looking where you put that and saying, yeah, had to be a fish in there. What do we got, mate? What do we got?
I don't know.
Oh,
soot.
another soot.
It's another soot.
Nice country for it too.
That is.
Oh, that's pretty. Would you like me to get the net, mate?
Oh, would you mind?
Oh, I was a bit busy. I was about to get another cast.
Yeah, I know you were.
I was trying to knock him off for you. Oh, mate, that's a bit chunkier.
Oh, yeah, getting there.
Mate, that's nice.
No plastic. He has well and truly hammered that. A lot of the bites at the moment are happening virtually as your lure lands. It sinks just into their space and they are onto it so very, very quickly. And shows you that shade and timber is so critical to the survival of these guys. And in a waterway like this, they're so important for the food web. You know, you've got your Saratogas and your sooties. These would be the apex predators in these parts. So all the bait, you know, a lot of the insect life that falls in the water, but particularly the bait, it's kept in control. And it's all to do with making sure that around waterways like this, plenty of trees, shade, and it just keeps critters like this happy. Oh, the front.
That'll get him.
Oh, get the net, get the net, get the net, get the net. Yes! Yes!
Yeah. That, wow. What
That's a chunk. Jace, aren't they prehistoric? So Jason and I love chasing. This is the southern Saratoga. He's got a cousin in the north and plenty of cousins around the planet. They belong to a family known as the arowanas. Cousins in Asia, South America, Papua New Guinea. The arapaima that grows like 2 meters long is related to this guy. A lot of them jump, they love to jump, and obviously because they're very used to getting up and catching stuff with wings, insects and the like, so they can as easily feed in the water as they can above. And look at those eyes, that whole head and body structure is made for sitting there watching what's coming from above, and the moment it lands in its space, it's just bang. Oh, Jace, aren't they just one of our most coolest and oldest looking critters? 200 million year old fish. They're mouth brooders, so they look after the young in their mouth. Very, very hard mouth. The bony tongue fishes, they belong to that group, which is why we've been really struggling to hook and land them. He's about ready to go. Okay, he's starting to kick. There you go, matey, off you go. Oh yes, what a beautiful tail.
With the morning session over, we decide to head to camp, get back into the car and head further upriver to explore water we can't get to by boat.
We're just about to head off the beaten track and do a bit of exploring. Before I get too far from camp, what I'm going to do is I've got a solar powered GPS watch. I'm going to make sure that I kick the GPS into gear, give it a few seconds, and we are now reading. And so it doesn't matter where we end up, we'll be able to backtrack and find our way home. We pushed up this section of the creek this morning and got to a point where we couldn't get the boat through. We've had a little lunch. We've decided that we're going to go for a bit of an explore in the four-wheel drive and see if we can get up and around that and do a little bit of shore-based fishing and just see what we might turn up, Jace.
The search for new water takes us over some tough terrain, but we know roughly where the creek turns, and if we can overcome a hill or two, we should be able to find some new fishing territory.
That's the section we couldn't get in, those trees up there. That was where we couldn't get through the boat. So that's it. That's exactly where we couldn't get in through the boat. Walk in from here.
Yeah,
Yep.
thinking that we're not going to get too much further.
Found the water.
The creek bed is hot, and we quickly find that the best spots to cast a lure are near impossible to reach from shore. We may have made a mistake leaving the boat. To restore some pride, Jace manages to fool a cruising catfish, but our hopes of catching much else have taken a dive.
That'll do. That'll do.
We decide to head back to camp and finish the afternoon in the boat.
We're about to start our last session on the creek and stick to something we might be good at, which is catching fish out of the boat. And I reckon being in the boat, I wouldn't like to be here when floodwaters that put that up come through this place. It just goes to show it's really hot and dry at the moment, how much water runs through here, but also just how important that wet season is to the continued health of these fish and them getting to other creeks. Let's go fishing.
We spend the afternoon exploring downriver, taking in the scenery and local wildlife. The fishing is definitely a little slow, but finally, as our session comes to an end, we manage to fool one of the locals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Some sting night. How are we going, buddy?
Yep, he's got me in there, he's got me in
Got
there.
you in there? What are we doing? You want to go and get him?
I reckon I got him out.
You going to get him out?
Yeah, I got him out. Got him out.
Oh, nice, mate.
He towelled me.
He did
Straight
towel you.
back in there. Wow. Look at that. Get in there.
Yeah.
That made me work. That made me work. And their best means of defence, when they're suddenly out of sorts, something's grabbed them as they go, I'm going back home. And they're very good at getting medium weight tackle back in there. He is a chunk, just little absolute brutes. We're using light to medium weight tackle. Little 3 pieces because we've been on the road, so it's handy to chuck in the back of the 4-wheel drive and get the job done. I think you've got what, the old 3 to 6 kilo?
Yeah.
2 to 4, I think I'm a little bit underdone maybe.
Yeah,
but I'll take
fun.
one of these.
Oh yeah, good work, man. That looks so cool.
and Jace with the sun getting low. And on that note, I reckon we end the freshwater leg of the adventure, head back to camp, and tomorrow it's all about getting back on the road and heading to the salt.
A looming problem we've ignored until now becomes real, and that is getting this boat out of the water and back up this hill.
I hugged the bank tight, Jason, and I can't see the trailer, so you might have to direct me in.
Hook around. Stop. Go straight. All right, slow down. Strain it back up a little
The
bit.
plan is to attack this the same way we got the boat in. First, we have to get the angles right. Keep the car far enough up the hill while we get the boat back onto the trailer.
Oh. That might be it, mate. About there, mate. I probably wouldn't go any further.
Getting a 600 kilogram rig back onto a trailer that is out of the water has a few associated problems.
It's a bit sketchy when you look up. Righto. Go. You can trim up as much as you can and drive it. Righto.
Hey.
Whoa. I can saw the boat nearly landed in there then. What happened?
It just kept going.
Oh. Nah. You jump out and come help me winch.
Yeah, I'll just get this motor up.
This is definitely a two-person job, and finally we latch the boat back onto the trailer.
Jeez. Yeah, you're there. Yeah. It's about 38 degrees at the moment. I'm getting a bit thirsty.
Now the real test begins. Can we winch the whole lot back to safety?
Be really close, mate. Cut. Hard.
Yeah.
Just stop for a sec. Hang on. When you go back, swing right hand down. That's it now. Turn around the other way. Turn now. That's
Sliding.
just about it.
Scott, I'm going sideways.
All right, now we're about to get up over that edge. Hang on. Slow. Just slow. Let the winch do the work. Yep, just stop there.
Almost out. Hard work now is done. Jace gives me the all clear. We're out.
All right, mate, nice and slow. You're on your own now.
Awesome.
Yeah, up and over. Woo! Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. We are out.
Not recommended for the faint-hearted.
Now we know what we can do with it. Next time, we can go harder. We wondered if we could get it in.
We are pumped to have got this boat in and out of here and caught fish, but we don't have time to enjoy the moment as another very big problem blows in with the wind.
Wow. We just had a local come past. This place is just suddenly filled with smoke, and he said he's been fighting a bushfire a fair way down the road. We're going to stay the night, but yeah, we're packing up and we're getting out of here. Just start throwing stuff at me, Jason. That pergola's got to come down. We just throw rods in the car, tie it all up down the road.
No, mate, my heart's racing.
That's a bit hectic, Jace. And we got some work to do. That was a seriously quick camp pack up. There's smoke everywhere now. 4 cars have hooted past us in the time we packed up. And I reckon we're heading in the right direction. Behind us is just smoke. You good? Good over there? Let's get the highway. As soon as we get there, we put that radio on and see where we can and can't go. Plan now, head back to Rocky. I think that's going to be our safe haven. We'll get there and make plans from then on when we get there. Whew. Thank God we got the boat out.
We hit service to find worried phone calls from family and the radio telling of bushfire fronts to our north and south now. Driving home was an eerie affair, passing through smoke-filled towns that have been evacuated. Finally, we make it back to Rockhampton, and with one day left on our journey, we have some replanning to do. The fires we've run from are still burning and have limited our access to the north and south. So today we decide to stay closer to Rockhampton and head east to fish Waterford Creek. After a stressful day yesterday, we are both looking forward to one last day of fishing before heading home. Today is all about fishing the oceanic to brackish sections of the estuary, Jace, to see what we can discover in contrast to what we found in the freshwater sections of the river. I reckon it's looking pretty good up there that way. Just like in the fresh, we now have to find what the local predators are eating and where the food is holding.
You've got to keep your eyes open because a lot of the times the estuary will tell you what's happening. And right now, even though we're just sitting here getting set up, we can see small fish getting pushed around and chased. So it gets us excited a bit that the fact that there's action going on. So all we need to do now is match that hatch. That was a decent sized big one. There he is again. Oh, he's got it that time.
Yes, Jason. That's a salmon.
That's a salmon.
Oh, nice.
One isn't quite ready yet, I don't think. Look at that. Oh, he's loved that plastic then. That was good fun. He's had a swipe at that.
Oh, how's that?
That's good netting, Nigel.
Awesome. How's that for a mouth?
Oh, he thought that there was breakfast.
He did.
Yeah.
They'll be up there. We've seen a fair few swirls already this morning, and talk about eating sounds. You can hear they're distinctive hunting sounds, and it'll be the likes of these, tarpon, barramundi, just honing in to prawns and baitfish that have come to the top, and that's the first place they chase them. Often chase them out of the shallows, and then your bait's got no option but to go to the top, and that's often where life ends for some of them. This one, life doesn't end because he's going back. Always intrigues me looking at the hunting facets of our different predators, and you can just tell by looking at this salmon how good it is at seeing prey in its zone. It's got those big eyes right on its nose. It's almost like a Boeing with these massive big visor windows stuck right close to its mouth, so anything which comes in range, it's going to spot it all around it, above it. It's going to be able to suck it in, and on top of that, it's got a big lateral line. It's also got these filaments on the bottom, so it's really good at picking up vibration. So between detecting vibration and spotting it, it's not going to easily miss out on a feed.
Yep. Jack, I think.
Go, Jason.
Oh,
Go.
He has got me in there.
Get him. You're still on?
Yeah, he's still here. He has buried me, Nigel.
I think he's off.
Oh, I think he is too.
Just stop kicking.
No, he's still there. I'm looking at him. I'm actually looking at him.
No. Jason, why would you do that? Let's get this out. Oh,
Still there? Definitely still on there.
There he's there. Oh, I can see him. Take us that way a little bit. It's a nice jack. You see him?
He's down on that edge there.
Yeah, if you bring the rod around here, dude. Just got to find where he's gone. Okay, just ready for freeze pull in case he goes. I thought only one shot at that.
Pretty cool. Yep.
Wow, look at him, lit up. He's changed colour 3 times already. Always helps, just to really look after the health of your fish. We just love keeping them in the water as much as possible. The environment's perfect. It's a really kind net to the fish. It doesn't grab their fins, it doesn't remove scales. Looks after their slime coating. In other words, really looks after their health, and we know when we let him go, this one's going to be perfectly happy.
These are my favourite species of fish, the Legenidata tomaculus. It's probably, it has a, barramundi are probably like the most popular, but it's only because these things are so hard to catch, and they're fantastic fish. These are actually juvenile fish. They don't spawn, they don't actually breed until they're out on the reef, so they're a much, much bigger fish. So anything you catch in a creek or a river hasn't actually ever spawned. Yeah. So it's an interesting part of their makeup is that they're actually a reef fish, and they can live in fresh. You know, we didn't get anywhere we were yesterday, but that was a long way up. Yep. But they will travel, as long as there's a free running system, they can travel as far as, because they'll grow a lot faster in the fresh than they will in the salt.
And the key there, obviously, the opportunity to move. Like these fish go from the reef to the fresh. So critical for their life cycle and ongoing existence, the ability to move, so we can't barricade them too much.
Yes.
I reckon we let him go.
There we are. We've been looking after this fish. Obviously, these things are way too good to only catch once. So it's beautiful Mangrove Jack. Perfect time of the tide. Last hour or so of the run out, first of the run in. Very good. It's a very cool fish. Mate, we're gonna let you go. You go and get bigger.
Oh, that's a bite. That's a bite. Yeah, got it. Got it. Yep.
You got there, Nige?
I don't know, he's taken off. Wow, it's gone quick. Woo. Tell you what, she's got some toe, Jace.
Oh,
Cast up on that bank there. It might be another salmon. Clunked it.
Tarpon.
I'm not sure.
That's a tarpon.
It's a tarp. It is a tarpon.
Wait for the
stay
arrow.
on. Stay on. Yes.
Look at that.
They are a gorgeous fish, big scaled. Something that Barramundi love to chew on, particularly the bigger ones. And how's that for a hunting machine? Look at that for the size eye for a fish that big. It is going to have spectacular vision up and around, and it spends a lot of time looking up because look at the shape of its mouth. Big upturned mouth, so it spends a lot of time sipping on insects, and then it'll graduate to prawns and bait fish, and that's probably exactly what I thought that was. Nice easy feed. Gorgeous fish. We're going to pop him straight back. They don't like being out of the water, and where there's one, there's usually more.
It's got some kick on it though.
Oh, jeez.
Tell you what, mate.
I don't just called a tarpon before.
I've got a grunter.
Good grunter too. Yes, my friend. Another species. Racking them up. There's one tough fish. Lives in these parts. It's a javelin fish, also known, Jason, as a grunter.
Oh, the grunter, yes. Yes, and they get that grunting sound. They make that grunting sound using the crushing plates down in their throat. So they don't just eat, it's just eating a plastic, which I thought was a small fish. But they eat crabs, and they'll actually eat shellfish, and they actually crush up that shellfish for their digestive system as well. Helps go through. So those, when they do grunt, which we haven't made him grunt yet, you'll hear that's that crushing plates moving. There it is.
Listen to that.
There it is. Hey, buddy.
Quality. So,
you do not want your little pinky in there because it will crush that pretty well.
Goes in there. Oh yeah, grunting away now. And it's got very fine serrated teeth at the edge that lets them grab, and then they breathe in water, it goes back to the crushing plates, and then you hear that noise, and if you're a crab or a prawn, it's all over.
The last thing you're going to hear.
All right, we've held him out long enough. Gorgeous looking fish, very proud, big scales, downturned mouth, obviously sucking up stuff off the bottom. And we will let him go back to join the pack and keep eating stuff off the bottom.
I'm just going to gently give him a swim. Cool. So that particular time we've come around out of the current and the water slowed down, so you can notice that by the surface of the water it slows down, and what happens is the small fish get caught in the current, and the first thing that is they find their way out of the current where it slows right down, and that's where the predator was. So I've just cast into that slower area, let it sink all the way to the bottom. Obviously with a little T-tail it's swimming all the way to the bottom. When it got to the bottom I just a little tiny hop and drop, hop and drop, and that's when that guy just came up behind it and ate it. Very versatile, these plastics. I can use it on a higher part of the water column if you see the fish on the sounder, around the snags, or like that, hop and drop on the bottom.
Getting nervous down there. Oh, so much bait there.
Oh wow, there's that
Barramundi.
Yes.
Jason!
Wow.
Far out! Didn't that just come to life?
Oh.
Scared the heck out of me.
Heck out of me. I just sat down there and said, there looks like a barra sitting about 3 meters down.
Nice.
And wow. Ready with that net, my friend?
I am. We're using small lures today that aren't really designed for barramundi because we're targeting jacks and trevallies and tarpons and salmon. this isn't really the order of the day today because the Barramundi are protected right now, closed season. That's why we're fishing a lot smaller, because we do like to let them do their thing and spawn. And this one, we're going to keep in the net as much as we can and then let it go, because we want this thing to do its job come the first sign of floods and spawn time here. I just love the adaptation of our fishes to survive in their environments. And there's no better example than the Barramundi. Even just looking down on them, we sometimes don't appreciate how much fish change shade, not just so much colour, but their shade to suit their environment. And we've seen Barramundi between fresh and salt water change that so much. And you're just looking down on top of this fish. For that colour of water, from looking down on it, it is perfectly camouflaged. So it's going to survive, particularly smaller sizes, it's going to survive the bird attacks. Fish coming down above it, it can sit low, be an ambush predator, and then have a look at those eyes. It's a trait we've seen in a few of the fish we caught already today. Those big eyes close together, just perfect for spotting prey. And this guy's done his time in the net, and we are going to let you go, buddy. Oh, look at that. Fantastic. Good work, Mr. Metcalf. Yes.
We fished the brackish parts of the creek and now want to head down towards the mouth and learn what the fishing is like closer to the ocean. The estuary, like the fresh water, survives on the health and abundance of bait supply. Find it and understand it, and you're well on the way to catching predatory fish.
Oh, there we go. I believe it could be a flatfish, Nigel, and one with a bit of weight, my friend, I've got to tell you. Or it could be a cod or something that was sitting in there, but does feel a bit... No, it's a flathead. It's a flathead, my friend.
Done. We've just pushed down the system, get into some more salty water, a bit more oceanic now. You go that way, and this was one of the species we wanted to come across. And it took you, what, 2 casts?
2 casts.
I'll go to net, because I'm getting good at it today. Oh yes, look at you. Sliding in net. Yes. We have a flathead. Yes. Aren't they awesome? One of our best ambush predators in the estuary, I reckon, Jace.
Yeah, mate, you've been talking about eyes further up the estuary with different fish, but these guys, they're special. They've got eyes. Each eye individually can move in different directions to hunt food. And they sit on the bottom, hidden away like that. And as soon as they see something coming past, they explode out. A lot quicker than you'd imagine. They fly out, they grab their prey, and they've had a feed. Now this guy, he thought my soft plastic, which was the same soft plastic I've caught today, you know,
Barramundi, Jack,
salmon, a little cod, a grunter. So obviously that's the food source that they're hunting on, and we've nailed it. And mate, that's a cracker.
And we speak about eyes. We don't always talk that much about different fin structure, but have a look at that. Now that's what allows this fish that upward burst of speed. So he's got a tail which could propel it forward, but it lies there, and when it gets that sudden poof, that's where it all comes from. It's got that lateral propulsion. So these are just as important as its tail to its feeding. Now, we're not going to take you home, mate. You're very lucky today, because we do like eating flathead. We'll get it back, and we'll go and try and catch another one.
Absolutely.
With the tide dropping out, the fishing has gone a little quiet, but it gives us time to reflect on how diverse our river systems are, from the fresh to the salt. These places support a huge variety of species, and it shows us how important it is to protect them. But now, with cloud cover increasing, and after a big week on the road, Jason and I decide to call it quits and begin our long trek home.
Every adventure has to come to an end, and it's time for Jason and I to hit the road home. We've found and fished fresh and salt waters we'd never seen before, and learned so much about the fishes that live there. We had a few dramas, but I reckon that's par for the course for every journey into the unknown.
For details on all the equipment we used in today's show, head to our website afn.com.au, follow the links to the fishing show, and we'll tell you exactly what we used. And to stay up to date with our latest adventures, head to our Facebook page, AFN Fishing and Outdoors, and you'll find out exactly where we are and when.
It's Bill Klassen here from The Fishing Show, and if you like this instructional video and want to learn more, it's simple. Go to fishingshowtv.com.au and see a whole host of additional videos.